So whether you're left or you're right or you're center, whatever political spectrum you are, we all know that our world leaders, I think 150 something countries, different countries, all of our world leaders go and meet in Davos at the World Economic Forum almost every year, and they talk about things that are not really discussed out in the community. You can, if you're paying attention, go watch their videos as they're live streaming. You can go back to their YouTube channel, World Economic Forum, and you can watch their videos also.
We have, if I look at our stakeholders, we have business, of course, as a very important audience, and we have politics, we have continuous partnerships with many governments around the world. And of course we have NGOs, we have trade unions, we have all those different parts.
Media, of course.
Media, of course, and very important experts and scientists and academia. Because if we are looking at the future, I think we should look at new solutions, and the new solutions will be very much driven by technological developments.
And we even have, you even have religious leaders, right?
We have religious leaders, we have social entrepreneurs, very important social entrepreneurs.
We all know, whether you're left, you're right, whatever spectrum you are on the political stance, we all know that our leaders are signing agendas with other leaders across the world in the World Economic Forum. We all know this. How many of us pay attention to the agendas? I want to show you some agendas that you're going to damn well want to pay attention to, because that's exactly what's being played out right now. And if you pay attention to these, you will understand what is about to come. And if you understand what is about to come, you are able to counter what is about to come, counter their narrative. So the main agendas and focuses that the World Economic Forum has with all of these different world leaders that they're all signing on to, they're signing contracts with to complete the contracts, are the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals agendas. And here are the 17 SDGs. What do you personally know about them? And now the thing is, when you read these 2030 Sustainable Development Goals agenda from the very top, from the UN, they're the first ones that started it. It started with Agenda 21 back in 2001, okay? And that one is pretty telling if you go read that. But right now, what is going on in this very moment is the 2030 SDGs. When you read their SDGs, you have to understand the languaging that they're using. They use very open-ended languaging, and they write it in such a way that to the general person, they would read it and they would think, oh, this is going to benefit the people. But they don't tell you exactly who it's going to benefit. They leave the languaging very open-ended. And I can tell you 100%, by the end of these goals, when we get there to what they've put in quota for all these different countries that are signed on that contract and have to fulfill that quota, okay? Canada, USA, Australia, all the countries that seem to be really affected by COVID-19 right now. So all these different countries are signed on to that contract, okay, for the 17 different sustainable development goals. When you read them, don't allow yourself to think that when you're reading it with the languaging they've used, don't allow yourself to think that it is going to benefit you, the person, the people. Always think in your mind when you're reading through that with their languaging, the benefit is always going to be to the corporation. And if you read all of these different 17 goals, this is just a quick run through of it directly from the United Nations website, the source. Please read it all and really update yourself with what's going on. You can read this. This is just a quick run through of it. I'm going to show you the actual 2030 agenda page. I'm going to have all of these links down in the description below. Please share it with anybody that doesn't understand what's going on. You have to read this in a way that it is the corporation that is going to benefit from all of these different goals. And if you read it that way, you will finally understand that this net zero carbon that they're aiming for by 2030, but now the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, has publicly stated that they want to aim for the 2030 goals by 2025 now. So that means we get a couple more years.
And Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on a strategic partnership between the UN and the World Economic Forum, which outlines areas of cooperation to deepen engagement between the two institutions and to jointly accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda.
Their words, not mine. If you pay attention to the languaging and you think of it in a process where it is the corporation that benefits every single time, you're going to understand after you've read everything I go through in this video and you actually go through it step by step the way I show you, you're going to understand that the only carbon they are trying to reduce are humans, us. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but please go read the data directly from their website. And like I said, do it in a mindset where you don't allow yourself to believe through their languaging that they use intentionally to make you believe that humans, us, the general public, are the ones that benefit from any of these goals. Look at it as the corporation will benefit. And then sit back and play it all out in your mind on each agenda. What would be the end result of each agenda if only the corporation was to benefit? So this page here, you will be able to read the entire 2030 agendas that all of these giant corporations and not NGOs and non-profit organizations, like just all of these different companies, your cable company, your water company, your electric company, your schools, they're all signed on to these 2030 agendas. And I would imagine most of them didn't even read it. They only signed it. Most of like the head honchos of these corporations didn't even read it. They just signed on to it for political reasons, to stay good with their political party because they were asked by their political parties to sign on to it. You know, like school trustees and stuff like that. I bet you a lot of them have never even read all this information and don't even understand where it's taking us. Humans are the carbon they want to reduce. It was for 2030, and now Klaus Schwab, leader of the World Economic Forum, wants it to be completed by 2025. And now we're getting all these different viruses every week.
I think that it's really a fulfillment of a dream that we had together with my leadership team when we started in 19. The first week we met in January of 19 in California, and to set up the goals for the next 5 years. And one of them was by 2023 we will reduce the number of people in the world by 50%. I think today this dream is becoming reality.
Causing deaths and unknown deaths all over the place. Please read these agendas. So after you've read the agenda, the original Agenda 2030s, the first written ones from the United Nations, I would then come check out and read the World Economic Forum's 2030 vision. I would definitely read that next. And it's building blocks, stepping stones to understand exactly what's going on and how it's going to play out. And like I said, when they word things in their languaging, you have to look at it like the corporation will benefit, because in the end, that's what it will be. That's where you will own nothing and be happy comes from. You will rent everything from the state. They will control the petroleum, the oil, and all of that stuff as they're claiming it is being reduced. They will use that petroleum, oil, and stuff to run their companies to create these crappy electric cars for you that look amazing, but you're going to be constantly buying parts from them to replace things, sensors, and all that stuff. It's all part of the agendas and the plans, guys. None of this is designed to benefit the people. And it is languaged in their writing in such a way that it sounds like it's going to benefit the people, to the general public that just pays attention mostly to the headlines and doesn't actually read the entailings of it, which I'm going to leave the link so you can go read it. I'm only showing you the headlines because I could read through it all day long and you will not understand it until you read it and interpret it yourself. But when you're interpreting it, please do not allow them to trick you into believing that these agendas are in any way going to benefit the people, because that is not their intention or their plans for them or any of their big corporation, conglomerate, giants, investors, which there are multiple investments that connect back to this Agenda 2030. Like I said, your cable company, your water company, your hydro company, they're signed on to this contract. They want to fulfill this contract that most people don't understand or know anything about. Now you go to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation website. I would also read, after you've read the World Economic Forum one, which is also called Focus 2030, here on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Focus 2030. I would read that next. Then after you've read the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Focus 2030, Agenda 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, never forget, it's always the corporation that's going to win when you're reading their languaging. It's never the people. It's not part of the plan. We are not part of the club. Anyways, so now you got the Open Society Foundations, which is, we know, George Soros, who we know funds BLM, who we know funds a lot of these LGBTQIA, sorry, it's hard to say, organizations that really the real gay community doesn't want anything to do with. They think it's an embarrassment.
Wait till you see this, a teacher making kids pledge allegiance to the pride flag and then posting a video boasting about it. Let's go to the Gateway Pundit, where they report it looks like the liberal teachers at a California high school are so emboldened that they're now posting themselves straight to social media with videos of how they indoctrinate children. In a video uploaded to her previously public TikTok account, 11th grade high school teacher Kristen Pitson, who's a teacher at the Back Bay High School in the Newport Mesa Unified School District, revealed that she doesn't make the kids say the Pledge of Allegiance and that she also doesn't have the Star-Spangled Banner in her classroom. She claims she took the flag down during the COVID pandemic because it made her uncomfortable. Watch.
Okay, so during third period, we have announcements and they do the Pledge of Allegiance. I always tell my class, stand if you feel like it, don't stand if you feel like it, say the words if you want, don't have to say the words. So my class decided to stand but not say the words. Totally fine. Except for the fact that my room does not have a flag. It used to be there, but I took it down during COVID because it made me uncomfortable. And
oh, she's all smiles. She's all smiles bragging about this. Unbelievable.
I packed it away and I don't know where, and I haven't found it yet. But my kid today goes, hey, it's kind of weird that we just stand and then, we say it to nothing. And I'm like, oh, well, I gotta find it. Like, I'm working on it. I got you. In the meantime, I tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he looks around, he goes, oh, that one?
Wow, absolutely disgraceful. The look on her face. In another video posted her TikTok, she shows off all of her different pride flags in the classroom. And then she pledges allegiance to the queers. Watch.
It's Pride Month! I will never not be awkward. That's fun for me. Happy Pride, everyone! It's June 1st, the start of Pride Month. Here's what I got going in my classroom. I got these flags from Target in like the dollar bin, so that's amazing. They didn't have all of them in the collection that they came out with, so I got all the ones that they had. As well as the inclusive pride flag. I pledge allegiance to the queers. I also got a really big pride inclusive flag. I need to put it up still, but it's gonna go up there and I need like a ladder. So that's gonna come later, but it's here, yay! So I love you all very much. For the people who are out, for the people who aren't out, you're appreciated, you're loved, you are enough. I support you, I got you. Send your queer friends.
And now a lot of the real gay community are starting to speak out and say, hey, this is disgusting what you guys are doing with kids. This is grooming. There's no other way to explain it. And people keep trying to explain it away, but you can't. It's disgusting.
Can somebody explain this one to me? Because I know y'all love to explain stuff. You're like, well, it was this, it was that, it was a... Can you explain this one to me? Does that look appropriate to you? Oh, okay. Yeah. This is, again, I'm going to keep on exposing this because this, you know, there's something that doesn't click inside, I think. There's a fuse for people that make excuses for this. There's no excuse for this one. For any of it. But this one specifically, to me, that's not a lab retriever, by the way.
Parents are terrified for their children right now, and it's because of the LGBTQIA agenda that's being played out through companies like this, George Soros, and he is the disruptor. He just runs around different countries disrupting shit, disrupting financial markets, disrupting society in order to disrupt the financial markets, and that's how George Soros works and all of his little NGO companies. But here I would read, after reading Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum, Agenda 2030, I would come and read his version of Agenda 2030. And like I said, same thing. Always keep in your thoughts when you're reading the languaging. It is the corporation that gains, not the public. It's a depopulation agenda and it's right in front of your eyes. You just have to read it and pay attention. And then as you're reading it, play it out in your mind. What is going to actually happen to get to this reduction rate? Net zero carbon reduction. Please read all the agendas and then just put 2 and 2 together. Anyways. And then now we get into the conspiracy theory, the Great Reset. Here we are in the bankofcanada.ca website. I'm just going to leave that there. It's going to be down below. Go read that. Understand what their plans are for your finances. And like I said, again, just like the 2030 agendas, keep in mind, they language it in such a way that it's open-ended. They don't tell you exactly who is going to benefit. It is the corporation that's going to benefit every time. And this Great Reset is a digital enslavement into that digital identity.
Canada is on the cusp of a revolutionary innovation that will transform the way Canadians authenticate themselves online and protect their identity. Digital ID. All of us are living in a digital world, but we're tethered to an analog model of how we identify ourselves, memorizing countless online passwords, carrying government-issued licenses, plastic cards, and more. Digital ID is a way for Canadians to identify themselves to government, businesses, and each other electronically, with ease and rock-solid security, without the need to present physical documents. One interconnected network. A federated digital ID ecosystem developed in collaboration with Canada's best and brightest talent from our banks, telecommunication companies, law enforcement, and government. It would have the power and security to store every Canadian's electronic identity and attributes. And it would unlock countless opportunities for Canadians to verify who they are safely, quickly, and securely, while only revealing the information necessary for each transaction. A fast, easy, and secure way to bank, sign up for government services, renew driver's licenses or health cards, shop, travel, and more. Canada's banks are perfectly situated to help lead the creation of a federated digital ID system between government and the private sector. The World Economic Forum agrees that banks and financial institutions should lead the path forward for digital ID. Banks are highly regulated and trusted. They have advanced cybersecurity and privacy technology, and they have the infrastructure to operate provincially and nationally. Banks are also at the forefront of working with fintech startups who are bringing revolutionary mobile and online products and services to Canadians. Digital ID can help consumers navigate between these apps and programs with trust and confidence, knowing their ID is protected at all times. A federated digital ID approach can also significantly reduce fraud, save taxpayer money, improve regulatory compliance, and make it easier to do business as an owner and as a consumer. In fact, the Canadian Bankers Association just launched a white paper with our recommendations on how to move forward with a federated digital ID framework. I encourage you to read it to learn more.
Just remember, they make it sound so simple and convenient, but they leave out the part that once you've fully committed to this and there's no more cash left in society, and we've now had successfully created this two-tier society, people that will not sign on to this and people that will just keep complying, they leave out the part that they can shut you down as soon as you stop complying. Please keep that in mind. Government and state will have complete control and be able to press a button any single time they'd like to turn you off.
Confirming that accounts have been frozen, both personal and corporate, but you're not releasing the information. And the actual follow-up is, I'm just wondering whether the bank accounts will be targeted of individuals who donated to the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe campaigns. Are they considered designated people under the Emergencies Act, meaning that their credit cards could be cut and financial services are targeting them as well?
Okay, so the names of both individuals and entities, as well as crypto wallets, have been shared by the RCMP.
Today, Canada's Conservatives are demanding that Justin Trudeau release the secret documents that he's been hiding from Canadians. These documents are about the transfer of Ebola and Hennepin viruses to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in March 2019. The documents also contain information about scientists with ties to the Chinese military who had their security clearance revoked and were fired after the transfer. For years, Canada's security services have been warning the government and universities about the risk of research cooperation with Communist China. How could two scientists with deep connections to the Chinese military be able to gain access to a high-level Canadian security-cleared laboratory with access to the world's most dangerous viruses, like Ebola?
With financial institutions, and accounts have been frozen and more accounts will be frozen. Crowdfunding platforms and payment service providers have started the registration process with FinTrack. In terms of the specifics on whose accounts are being frozen, you now have the regulations. The financial service providers have those regulations as well, and they, working with law enforcement, will be making the operational decisions.
Be stuck eating maggots out of the ditch to try and survive and feed your family. And nobody's going to care. Obviously, nobody cared when we tried to warn them about COVID-19 and the Great Reset. Nobody cared. So let's keep going. The next piece of information I'm going to give you is probably the very most important piece of information you will ever receive in your entire life. So please pay attention. And please follow my steps. So now that you've read through the 17 different goals, just a quick synopsis from the UN on what their the original 2030 agenda was and is, that everybody else is now signed on to in a contract and is looking to fulfill. All these giant companies, they're going to do whatever it takes, and they will profit and benefit in the end, as they always have, unless we start to learn to stand together and build new systems and spread awareness so more people sign on to the new systems and get away from the BlackRock and the Wellcome Trust. And you understand what I'm saying. BlackRock, Vanguard, Wellcome Trust, Berkshire Hathaway, any companies that are invested into companies that you are purchasing from. We have to become more aware and start doing research on all the companies that we support and make sure we are not supporting any of these ones anymore. And that's the only way that happens, is through people spreading awareness. So I'm trying to show you the steps to understand exactly what is planned for the future. Okay, and this will show you almost exactly what is planned for the future. So anyways, we are in YouTube. I'm surprised they haven't taken it down yet. I do have a recording on it on my Rumble channel, because they love to take things down on YouTube once people get the wiser to it, when it's truth. Anyways, COVID-19, the Great Reset, World Economic Forum YouTube channel. I would subscribe and watch that. That's going to start giving you a decent understanding of Klaus Schwab, the leader of the World Economic Forum's world views for our future and the future of corporations. Remember, anytime you're listening to any of this stuff, it is not the people that they are looking to benefit. It is the corporations, and they want to enslave the people. And please look into the names on some of these when you watch these. Pause it and go look into their names and look into what their family origin comes from, what country they come from. A lot of them are popping up from old school Germany, folks. Anyways, World Economic Forum YouTube channel, definitely go check it out. Now this is where you wake up. You wake up and you start to understand what is their plan, what is their end game goal. And once you've done that, then you can start to formulate your own plans and explain their goals to other people, so they can start working and networking with you to understand and formulate plans also to counter their narratives. Because this right here, COVID-19, the Great Reset, full audio book, or you can just Google it, COVID-19, the Great Reset by Klaus Schwab, and you can buy it directly from Klaus Schwab. I would find an alternate buy that is the same book, just to give the money to not Klaus Schwab. Anyways, I've recorded it to my Rumble channel, of course, Non-Vaxxer 420 on Rumble. Anyways, COVID-19, the Great Reset, full audio book by Klaus Schwab, leader of the World Economic Forum. And nobody takes this seriously, and they should, because every year all of our leaders go to Davos, to go to the World Economic Forum, to meet with other leaders and make plans basically behind our backs, because not the general public can get into it. I believe it's like $10,000 plus to be able to even get into one of those events. So that's obviously not inclusive to the general public. And remember, when they say in their documents inclusive and equality, it's bullshit. Inclusive and equality to these people means divisive and separated. That's what their literal version of the wording that they're using, the languaging that they use, really means. Equality and or diversion. It's divisive and separation. They want to separate our races, our classes. They want us to be divided and separated. You have to understand their languaging, guys. It is not meant to benefit the people. It is meant to benefit them, the corporations only, and to enslave the people, to walk the people to their own enslavement. You need to read this or listen to this book. I will have the link for it down below. Please, out of all any things, if you don't know how to read, or you're just too lazy to read it, in all honesty, because I would read this is a matter of life and death for you and your future offspring.
I think one lesson which we take out of this crisis is this notion of mutual interdependence. because even as individuals, we had to take care not to infect someone else and not to be infected. And the same we have to apply now on a global level. As long as not everybody is vaccinated, nobody will be safe.
So anyways, if you don't want to read the UN Agenda 2030s, at least please go down, scroll down in the description and look for this titling right here and listen to this. It's 3 hours long, and it's going to be the most important 3 hours of your entire life, because after listening to this, you will fully understand what they intend for a future for us useless eaters. And then after that, you will be able to start formulating a counter narrative and try to start making solutions. And you'll also be able to inform your fellow people, because you'll actually understand what's going on. And I encourage you to share this video and share the information that's down below in the description with anybody that is still questioning and that still believes that voting is going to get us out of this, because that is just another distraction that nobody seems to understand is all rigged. And it's going to be, no matter what party you vote for, another World Economic Forum puppet, another UN puppet that is going to be in power. And then it goes above the UN. But I don't want to get into those conspiracy theories. This is all provable information that I have, and I'm sharing with you guys. Please take the time to go through it and just pay attention to it. Read it and listen to this especially. I'm going to put a warning sign beside the titling down in the description below. Much love, guys. Just trying to get the information out there. A lot of people still don't understand what's going on. They're still believing in their political systems, and they really truly believe that somebody's coming to save them. Nobody personally is coming to save you. No leaders. It is up to you to get the information out, spread awareness, and just keep spreading that awareness so more people understand what's going on, and they understand that the only way to stop this is if more and more people stop complying with it. Stop complying with the tyranny. It'll never end if you keep complying. Our trucker, the freedom movement, period, before even the trucker movement, a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, was maybe 100 to 1,000 people tops that would show up at these rallies every single weekend. Now, since the trucker movement acquired, I heard there was 2.3 million people in Ottawa on 1 or 2 days straight during the trucker convoy in Ottawa, there to support it. And many Ottawa residents also, not the ones that have sticks up their butts. Anyways, that has just blown up since then. I've been seeing convoys all around the world because I'm connected all around the world. A lot of people won't see what we see because they are not connected with the same people we're connected with. And that's why we get up and we try to share it with everybody, because we have that connection with all these different people from different locations, showing what is really going on out there. And that convoy has moved all around the world. It's been amazing. And even the weekly rallies where people just show up at, like, say the College of Physicians, or say the City Hall, or wherever, the main monument downtown where a lot of people are walking by that could hear us. Those rallies also went from 100 to 1,000 people 2 years ago to now thousands of people, to sometimes tens of thousands of people that are showing up in different parts of the world in all of their major cities. So this movement has grown because of the truth that we keep pushing and spreading. So keep hope and just keep pushing and spreading that truth, guys. Keep sharing videos and rate the source, and encourage people to please read and understand what their agendas that they are contracted and signed onto to fulfill are. The people, the general people, should know what these agendas are, guys. Why do we not know what the agendas are? Please encourage people to read. All right, much love. Stay safe, stay frosty, and like us Canadians really love to say lately, honk honk.
Of our country has completely changed. Before I can even begin, I have to start by, number one, thanking our truckers. enough can be said for these frontline warriors that took it upon themselves to be the first group in Canada to stand in united non-compliance. And before I can go any further, I want you all to thank yourselves for being here. Because without you supporting this movement, supporting the truckers, supporting everyone who's been fighting since day one, we would not be here. We would not have this movement. We would not have this power. So thank you, Canada, from the bottom of my heart. What we're doing here today will go down in history as one of the most significant moments in solidarity in human history. For nearly 2 years, I've been doing every single thing in my power, and so have many others, to try to achieve what people thought could not happen. The people coming together, despite of all the ways they try to divide us, despite of all the lies and propaganda, we stand united, we stand strong, and Canada is now the beacon of light and hope and freedom for the entire world! Oh! Let's go! Who around the world would think that the docile, the friendly, the nice Canadians would be the ones to stick their feet into the sand and say enough is enough. It's time to take our country back. Take it back!
Face that way too.
And our voice has reverberated so far around the world. You see convoys in Australia bearing Canadian flags. You see trucks in the Netherlands bearing Canadian flags. You see the people of Brazil screaming, "Go Canada!" We see freedom rising around the world. The UK, Ireland, Denmark, Switzerland have gotten rid of restrictions. And they're not going to be the only ones. They're going to be the first of many. The domino that started to fall, the tidal wave is coming in, ladies and gentlemen. And it's coming here to Canada. What do we see already? Besides the fact that our fearless leader is nowhere to be seen hiding in a hole, making threats that he can't cash in on. What do we see? Scott Moe in Saskatchewan backing down against the mandates. Jason Kenney in Alberta backing down against the mandates. And why? They're going to say it's because they got Omicron under control. No, it's because we got them under control. Yes! Yes! Make no mistake, they would keep their foot on your throat as long as you would allow. If we stood idly by, we would be like Quebec, where you gotta go into a jail cell to go to a Walmart. I think, yeah, laugh it up, but that's still part of Canada. That's still our brothers and sisters. We need to get them on our page. We need to bring them into this fold. We need to get them their freedom back. We need to get freedom back for everybody, not just here, but around the world. We are reaching the end of phase 2 of United Non-Compliance, taking action. And it's going to end with us taking our freedoms back. But we cannot stop there. We got to keep the pressure on, moving into phase 3 of United Non-Compliance. My personal favorite, holding them accountable. If these politicians think they're just gonna flip-flop and change sides because they've read the writing on the wall and all of a sudden be hailed as heroes, they got another thing coming. If these puppets like Trudeau think that they're just gonna fade off into obscurity so they can pull this shenanigans on us whenever they feel like it, they got another thing coming. We are in a position where we can not just get our freedoms back, we can reshape our country in a way that makes it better than it ever was. Better than any country in the history of the planet. We have the largest landmass, the most resources, the most diverse population. There is no reason why without the right governance, we cannot have a golden era of Canada where people have so much more than they ever thought possible. And it's all how we react now. They're going to try to do everything. You've seen what they're trying to do in the media. This is a racist movement. It's anti-Semitic. It's anti-black. It's anti-homo. It's homophobic. It's transphobic. Are you serious? Can you even walk around more than 5 steps without someone smiling at you or shaking your hand or giving you a high five? The police, God bless their souls. God bless you all. I know you're not doing what you want to do, but they admitted that we had over 2.5 million people in Ottawa. And there is so much love and so much togetherness. I don't even think somebody fell and scraped their knee, let alone had cried or anything. And this is what the dirty tricks the city's been pulling. With trying not to let us get rid of garbage, trying not to let us pump out porta potties, trying to prevent emergency vehicles from where they gotta go. Why? So they can try to make this look bad. So they can try to make this look unlawful. There is nothing more lawful than standing up for what's right. And what's more, how good does that feel, ladies and gentlemen? How good does that feel? You know what that is? That's love. That's love, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they don't want the world to realize. That love is the most powerful force in human nature. Love is what is driving this movement. And when you have United Non-Compliance from love, when you have everybody ready to just say no out of love, it cannot be stopped. you love your country, and if you love your family, and if you love your children, and we want to protect their future, we have to stand together. We have to hold the line, and we have to keep moving forward. Let's go! Let's go! Yes! In any fight, the winner will always be the one who's willing to die to win that fight. And I stand here before you, and I pledge my life, my very last breath, to fighting for freedom. And if you are with me, if you feel the same way, let's scream out, freedom! 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 You hear that, Justin Trudeau? You hear that, every wannabe dictator around the world? Canadians have stood up. Canadians have lit the fire. Canadians are leading the way, and there's nothing that's going to stop us. In fact, we've already won.